starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I hate technology, honestly. It's the worst when you're live streaming. Can you hear me in the audio? Let me know in the chat there. It'd be much appreciated. Thanks very much. Anyway, a big welcome to the Crypto Night Show and your host, Superman, in the house. Pretty cool. Have no idea why the audio didn't kick out there, but just the way it goes. It looks like it's back now. Excavator in the house there. Harry Williams as well. Great to see you, Harry. Awesome stuff. You know, it's just the worst when you're doing a live stream and something doesn't work. It sucks. All right. We got Crypto Jackson House there. Good to go now. Awesome stuff. Loud and clear. We're on the moon here, guys. So my little preamble that you couldn't hear, was that, you've waited over 900 days and looks like for the Diamond Hands it survived. It was a survivor game. So it was a game of survival. Looks like things are about to come to fruition. So 20 hours to go approximately for Richard Hart has announced a new protocol coming. And this is exciting. So we're going to go through and have a look at what it might be. And I really like get your comments in the chat there as well. I think we're going to go have a pretty detailed look. I think you're going to like some of the insights we're going to pull up today. I think it's going to be quite fun. Now I've got to reset things up because, I had to refresh for the audio. So let me add in the content for today. Put the sound in as well because we're going to watch a few little videos of Richard Hart himself, the man, the myth, and the legend. Definitely get in. So if you are watching, of course, don't forget to smash out the show. So let's do that first to get it out of the way. Share show on X, and there we go. Bam. All right, let's scroll down there, and we've got the link there. So share that around. Hit the repost button. Really helps a lot because obviously as the show goes on, we have a lot more people watch. Now, obviously, I'm earlier than I've ever been on the live stream. I don't know what time is it, 4 p.m. Eastern or something like that. A lot earlier than my 7 p.m. usual. I've been getting a bit earlier these days because I've got so many different things happening right now. But less about me and more about what the heck is Richard up to? What the heck is it Richard up to? That's what we're going to talk about. So let's do it. All right. But before we do that, we are going to check the stock market and the crypto market. And then we're going to get into, so that's the first half of the show, I guess, is going to be markets. Then the second half is going to be all about what Richard Hart's protocol might be that he's going to be launching. So get your thoughts in there in the chat there and let us know what you think. And you might end up being right. So let's go. All right. Let me get into the right spot here. And we're going to go to stock market first and see how we go. Let's see. Bam. All right. Without further ado, we've got the stock market here. S&P 500 falls. So we've had pretty good week. Up and down week, but pretty good week. Yesterday was good anyway. So this is Thursday's result. So we've still got Friday to go. S&P 500 falls as traders turn sour on tech. They always put these titles. But anyway, we have got Dow Jones down 0.84%, almost 400 points to 46,900. So it's a decent little pullback there. S&P 500 is down 1%, 74 points to 6,700, and Nasdaq there down almost 2%, 445 points to 23,000. So quite a decent little correction there in the day. You can see we're actually doing pretty well, but then of course it tanked out and had a partial recovery. So it was actually a bit worse there. US dollar at the moment just below 100. We were at 100 yesterday, 99.55. And then in terms of commodities, West Texas $59.54. So that's gone down a little bit even more. Brent oil $63.49. Remember, Trump was talking about the petrol prices in the United States getting down, head towards $2 or below, and that would be just huge. And of course, he's already well on the way down, right? So pretty exciting there. Remember, during the Biden period, I mean, they had oil prices got up to $125 or something. This is a new world. So rational people really are excited about that. We've got E well in the house there. Let's go. Richard Hart from the Hex, and we got the Hogs there. Guys, crooks beware, says Hogger. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there, Hogger. But let's move on there. No negative comments in the chat. Thanks. I don't know what that means. We got the gold at the moment, $3,987. We got silver at $47.84. That's where we are on the commodities. Nvidia, of course, leads the bleed in tech and valuation concerns. Obviously, a little bit of shudder about AI, but I think the AI is actually turning over a lot of profitability, and so I'm not too worried about the AI theme. And we're going to certainly see the returns. I think it's the 19th of November. It is a big day that we need to keep on the calendar, just like the interest rate cuts, which I think is on the 10th of December. That's a very important day because that is leading the whole stock market. That's fell 4% today, but that's a little, nice little correction there. And we've got the 19th of November coming up, so that's kind of where we are right now. All right, you're starting to annoy me already, dude. And I only just started the show. There's always just takes one idiot in the chat there. All right, that's where we going here. Righty. Let's switch this around. And a bam. Oh, that's the wrong one. All right. All right. So moment callers. All right. So moment callers. All right. All right. Yeah, just we're trying to have a fun show here. Don't need people being silly in the chat there. All right. So let's move on. And so we've got the stock market coming up with Nvidia. And that's going to be the 19th. So we're going to check that out. That's going to be important for the calendar. So I think it's the 19th there. Let's have a look at the Fed rate monitor there. And we're going to see where we are at the moment on the Fed. So we've got 66%. So this is good news, guys. We went down from 66 down to 58%, and now we're back at 66%. So we've got 2/3 of the market expecting 25% basis point cut for December the 10th. So yeah, we got the Nvidia the 19th and December the 10th. Two key dates moving ahead here for our altcoin rally. That's kind of where we are right now. All right, so that is where we are. So let's move on from there. It's the stock market updates. And we're going to go quickly to the crypto majors. Now, I understand there was a bit of drama around Stable's USDX. So it is depegged from the looks of it. So assuming this chart's correct, it's gone from $1 down to, what's that now, 60, almost 70 cents there. So I'm not sure what's quite going on there. And of course, USDX there is, that's pretty interesting. So just worth taking note of. And in any case, let's go to the let's go to the overall markets here. So we've got 3.44 trillion is the market cap, down 2.8%. We've got Bitcoin right now at 100,778, down 2.8% right now. We've got Ethereum at number 2, down 3.9% at 3,300. And we've got XRP at number 4, down 6.7% at $2.19. We've got BNB at number 5, down 0.7% at $947. Solana down 4.1% at $155. Now, talking about Solana, X1, of course, is ramping up with the oracles and bridges and everything else. And I saw today that people were able to buy a bit of that XNT coin, but of course it ran out really quick. Now they're selling it essentially at $1 from the looks of it. Appeared up, and I think that supports the mechanism that Jack Levin was doing. And the other side of it, I think, is that they're opening it up for the validators, aren't they, for the bonus rewards? But hopefully we're not too far away from XDEX, and that's really when the gains begin. All right, was when XDEX goes live. That would bring in Zen blocks and everything else. So we're going to keep eye on that. In terms of the other movers at the moment, Tron number 9 is at 28 cents. That's down 1.9%, and we've got Doge there at number 10 is down 3.6% at 16 cents. So that's the top 10 right now. Best performer is Bitcoin relatively, I think it is. Oh, no, actually, Tron down 1.9%. And then the other, for the week, the best performer is also Tron, only down 1.8%. So, obviously a bit of a ocean red there. Top 100, we've got Dash at number 77, up 168%. Internet Computer number 44 is up 145% for the week. So we have got two really strong movers in top 100. Zcash at number 26, up 66%. Filecoin at number 88. We haven't seen that one in the top 5, I don't think, for a while. It's a 26.8%. And then White Bitcoin, number 16, up 26%. So, still got pretty good performance there, at least in 5 coins. And if you add in Astra, up 15%, we got 6 over 10% in the last week. So, still some money to be made. You're picking off the right stuff in the top 100. Top 1,000, we've got Spring Staked on Suchain, up 296%. D-Agent AI, which has often been there, is up pretty dramatic as well, 335%. We have seen that there many times, but it looks like a big power move today. And then Sapien there, up 200% as well. Those are in the top 1,000 gainers right now. Trending is Zcash Pudgy Penguins, which was trending yesterday, I believe. And then Filecoin has come into the mix there as well, up 28%. So that's pretty much where we are right now, down 2.8%. So, showing obviously a bit of a consolidation there before we have another push to the upside. There's really nothing holding us up to the upside as I can see. It's all bullish. So, yeah, we obviously have a few little shakeouts before we get to that next, the altcoin season parabolic start coming. So that's kind of where we are with the old crypto. And let's jump into the next one now. We're going to go to GoPulse and check it out. Let's have a look here. So we're going to go to GoPulse. Let me bring that up. All right, so GoPulse right now in the markets. So Pulse Chain holding up. People are excited, obviously, with the Richard Hart announcement. So no one wants to dump their coins right now. We're at 909 days since Pulse Chain launched on the 13th of May 2023. We got Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0307, and that is up a 2.66%. So that's pretty cool. And we got PulseX right now at quadruple 0204, up 3% as well. The buy and burn sitting at 8.02%. We got INC token $1.21, up 3.35%, and we got Hex just up slightly, 0.12% at 0.68 of a penny. EHEX at the moment, same price as yesterday, 0.18 of a penny, and the combined price 0.86 of a penny right now for the Hex pairs. So yeah, that is where we are. The good news, of course, is that Pulse ended up defending the 2,700 mark again on the day close, and now we're over 3,000. So that's a good news. Now we've got Richard Hart, which is mega news, talking about a protocol launch. And so here we are, looking pretty good. Now we're going to come back to PulseX, and you'll find out why later. But let's have a look at the gas prices. We're at 1 million beats, so a little higher than normal. 1 cent for a PulseX swap. Typically, we've been down about 0.4 of a penny last week. Validators, let's go to that. And the validators at the moment, 52,627. That's a huge jump today. It's a jump of about 350, something like that, 350 validators. Not sure whether Vouch has been adding some more, but that is a pretty big jump today. The bridge value sitting at 92.2 million. I think we were sitting around, what were we yesterday? 90 yesterday. I think we were below 90. I think we were about 90. So we're up a bit on that. It's kind of cool. I'm having a look. Should we get the snapshot and have a quick look at that? I don't want to go too much into the bridge, but let's have a look there. So we're at, what day is it? That 25th, and we're on the 7th. So let's say around about 12 days. We had, 12 days ago, we had 8,300 Ethereum. Now we've got 8,330. So we're up about 22 Ethereum there. And the DAI, we're down about 620,000 DAI. USD Tether, we're down about, about 90, around about 90 Ethereum, 90 USDC, 90,000 USDC, I should say. USD Tether, we're currently up. So that's the good news. We're up 165,000 on USD Tether there. It's a little bit of reprieve. That's kind of where we are over the last 12 days. But I think things are probably looking up here. So keep a lookout for that. All right, so that is the Gold Pulse numbers. Let's have a look at the market. We're at 14.6 million, so down a little bit, I think, from yesterday. I think we were around about 16 million yesterday. Transactions, so though, have been elevated ever since we sort of, was it last week, I think it was, or the week before? I think it was last week. We went over 600,000 transactions for the first time in 2025. We've stayed pretty elevated, right? We were typically sitting around, maybe around 250 to 400, somewhere in that ballpark a lot of the time. So we have had a lot more transactions on the chain. So I guess that maybe things are a lot better. We've got some new tokens. Now, remember, I'm not endorsing any particular new tokens. We always go through the trending, and I'm just going to go through a few of these. We may not spend as much time on this because we're going to spend a lot more time on the what is Richard Hart going to be launching. So that's going to be where we're spending most of the time. We've got P Tiger, been around for 2 hours, up 932%. We've got Pink Sea, which I think, pretty controversial. I haven't seen, I've had two different things there. We're obviously not going to, need to do due diligence on that. I'm not sure if this one's it's a new farm, isn't it? And potentially, I don't know if it's a ruggable thing, but it is what it is. It's not very big liquidity. Market 1.6 million though. Aave token is up as well. So PRC 24, 21 cents. That's up 40%. So obviously people, talking about Aave. Obviously, I think LibbySwap was suggesting possibly an Aave. We already have an Aave fork on Pulse Chain. So from the PH Universe team. So yeah, I'm not expecting, that's called Fiat. I'm not expecting too much there. Peacock Master Cook there, 18 hours. Master Cook card, been around for 18 hours, up 90%. PX 402, $6 right now, up 18% as well. Been around for 10 days. Sparta, so we've got one of our long-term treasuries here with the Hex Treasury. 5.7 cents is up at 11%. PSC to Grey's making a little bit of a move today. You can see all the peers moving up here, and that's up 8% right now. And that's been overlooked largely, I think, because of rotation into some of the other themes that's been going on, particularly Vouch. I think Vouch is the most obvious competitor there, but it seems to have bounced off this zone and got down to 0001555. It's now at 0001935, so back up there again. It looks like it's trying to fight to hold on. Now these two green lines are the sort of the range where I thought it could come into before it bounces. So that's kind of where it is. What else? That is number 7, 8, and 9. Number 10 is RSI oversold, up 7.8%. And that's doing what it is. Now we're going to go through, just bounce down through here. Interesting enough, we've got Gophers, which is a 404 contract as well. We've got Vouch at the moment, the number one valid on Pulse Chain, up almost 5%, along with VPulse at 4.4. We've got Doubt Token on the move a little bit there, Swarm on the move a little bit there, Moonix on a little bit there, 4%, etc. Now, as we understand it, Sun Minimal is going to be trying to move to Solana by the end of the year because they think it's easier to get registered on exchanges and other things like that. It's kind of some of the moves there. I understand that they also got a massive marketing plan expected, something talking about $250 million. I don't know what time frame that's over, but certainly they have big marketers as part of their, I guess I think it's the wife of the billionaire that did the capital raise. Was it last year? Was it year before now? Because time's moving along. I think it was last year, and they got a couple million euros to support that. So we're expecting that to do pretty well. Like this could be a mega coin, but the founder Wolfgang, it looks like he's going to move that to Solana. So it's been a bit of a I don't know, a bit of annoying sort of rollout where you've had all these forks on the Pulse chain getting ready. Now I understand they're still early business, relatively speaking, but it looks like they moved to Solana, which really does suck in terms of Pulse chain. Because they were going to plow all their profits and capital into it, right, and potentially introduce European investors. So that's kind of where that is at the moment. The other thing is their plant, I think, has had a few little issues to get their second plant line on. I think that's coming towards the end of the year. So that's kind of where we are with Sun Minimal. We'll try to keep you posted about that. But in any case, you can still buy it and participate, even if it does move to Solana, right? So that is where this is. And of course, the Floyne listing, which is like a high venture capitalist type of, got like 12,000 clients, all high value Europeans. And they were keen for them to move Solana too, I think, for the exchange listings as well. But, I think they're going to regret that in some ways because, there is some mega things for Solana, just like there is with Ethereum. But it's not as good. It's not as good a narrative as Ethereum for sure, and miles less. But I think they're going to regret it after Richard Hart finishes off with the old Pulse chain setups that are coming. That's pretty much it at the moment. I'm not going to go through the rest of them. We've got INC, a few others there. Doubt most token that are slightly green today. Up a couple percent, 3 or 4%. Pump tires up, 1.6%, etc. So that's kind of where we are with the markets. Hex is, almost flat today, and Solid X around $1.75. Going down further down, Peacock right now around 2 cents. Now Peacock probably getting sold off a little bit. This kind of ebbs and flows. It's got like a bit of a price floor just below this level, so that is a chance to get in, right? So we'll talk about that a bit later. We'll come back to Peacock. In fact, I might open Peacock up. We'll talk about that. We've got Brea at the moment at 34. We're looking forward to CoinWhale coming, so that's possibly going to be something pretty cool. X Game at the moment, just shaving off a little bit of that bounce back yesterday, back below 7/10 of a penny. And then we've got a lot of other Peacock related ones all down as well, including the new one coming up, which is not Peacock, but Vault 369. That is waiting for the launch, right? So we'll keep look out for those. They'll be, I'm sure, back on the top of the table very soon. So that's kind of where we are with the old moves there. Let me jump over to the second part of the show, which is really, what the heck is Richard Hart launching? And we're going to go through a lot of logic there to try and work it out. Wookie is popping. Hey, good to see you, Wookie. Thanks for coming in. Wookie is our community leader in the Discord, so big shout out. He also plays golf. And he beat the national champion. That's pretty cool. We got Streak Euro in house there. I'm big on the PRC 20s. What a sleeper. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. So, when Pulse Chain launched, over 900 days ago, Richard Hart talked about price discovery on Pulse Chain. And we've seen quite a bit of that. Unfortunately, on the 31st of July, 2023, the SEC decided to, put a case against not only Richard Hart, but the Pulse Chain itself, PulseX and Hex, which is just bizarre, right? It was just very bizarre. And they put a case together. Looked like it was written by some undergrad that was struggling with their grades. And then they got absolutely pounced in the courts. And of course, over a year ago, there's in New York, they had the court case and they got absolutely smashed. They looked like idiots and they were up against some of the best lawyers in the country. So it was just even worse, the difference. The judge was just had nothing else they could do except for absolutely slam it down. And on the 7th of July this year, after about 2 years, the final case was over. The final chance to try to put something up against Richard Hart was done, and Pulse Chain's been free ever since. And so here we are, about 4 months later, which is pretty amazing. So. And now we're about to have things really start to step up with potential, launch of possibly a very large protocol in 20 hours. So we're going to talk about that now. All right, so let's get into it without further ado. Now we're going to go through a few little opinion pieces, and we might even add a few more towards the end of the show. We're 25 minutes in the hour, so we've got plenty of time to chat through this. And let me know in the chat there what you think Richard Hart is going to be launching in 20 hours' time. But we should probably start off with Richard Hart's comment himself, right? Which is funny enough. It's the one that I don't have up. So we should probably start with that, right? We should probably start with that. So let's go to Richard Hart and let's see what all the fuss is about. What is all the fuss about with Richard Hart? Well, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So let's get into it. And bam. All right. Richard Hart there. He posted this, and this was posted 6 o'clock in the morning in my time, which is 4.5 hours ago. And he said, I've heard a new project is launching. Details within 24 hours. I'm excited. Be ready. And this is pretty aggressive from Richard, and we love it. We love it. Now we've got the girls freaking out on the little gift clip there. And so far, in 4 hours, it's had 157,000 views. So this is going to be pretty impressive over the 24-hour period. I mean, let's just do a bit of maths there. So 157,000 views. Let's just divide it by, let's say, 4 hours, and then we'll times that by 24 just to keep it simple. And that is, 940,000 views. This could have over the 24-hour period. Quite reasonably, might do 1 million. So that's pretty huge, right? Pretty huge, and everyone's excited. So everyone's out there trying to work out, what could it be? There's X bases on it and everything else. Everyone's got their theories out there, obviously. So let's get into what some of the stuff might be. Now, we saw pulsechainstats.com, which is one of our latest big information site for PulseChain. They says, all right, PulseChain, what do we think it is? And this is a good place to start because they're pulling up the old roadmap post of Richard Hart's. And so we're going to go through that from 2021. So they go, all right, PulseChain, what do you think it is? Wallet. So let me know in the chat, guys, what you think it's going to be. So we're going through this list. We've got a wallet. We've got a PulseX V3 they got on here. We've got new bridge. They got aggregator. They got margin trading. We got the privacy pools, like they were tested on testnet a few years ago. We got the wild card, and it could be a wild card there. What is Richard Hart and his devs about to release? And that's his post that he had from that time. Now, obviously, he had a list here after mainnet launch. So after mainnet launch, this is the list. So he had obviously the testnet they already had, go.hex, which already had bridges. ETH large ERC20s, Uniswap V2 front end for PulseChain. So we've had a lot of this sort of stuff. Block Explorers, Block Scout for now, and then of course post MVP, minimum viable product. They had trading pancake swap fork there. Obviously, we've kind of had that with the PulseX there, Block Explorers, etc. So let's go into some of the other stuff here. Coin ranking sites of PRC20s. Well, we've got kind of third party ones pushing those up. We've had a lot of those. Wallet replacement for MetaMask, Electron app for cross platform. So definitely a wallet seems like a top candidate. We do have Internet Money Wallet, of course, and that's going to get a UI upgrade. We've got Uniswap, but cross chains, and that could be very, very powerful, right? That cross chains, we've seen kind of Liberty Swap moving a little bit into that space, and of course we know Uniswap is extremely profitable. And of course, it's the big liquidity play, right? Who dominates liquidity? And of course, Uniswap dominates Ethereum, right, with liquidity. So that could be it. Could be it. We got the Centralo says, "Be ready." How Hex stables? Yeah. So we got that. Network Pulse Chain, port to Eragoth. So we got Uniswap V3 front end stablecoin from my exchange I'm making. So he's already teased about this. So we've got a couple of good candidates. Stablecoin from my exchange I'm making. Aggregator replace 1-inch market orders and limit orders. And then, of course, margin trading and Tornado Cash. We have Hexnado already can modify. So we've got a couple of really good options there, right? So we've got the wallet, although we've got Internet Money, so it's probably maybe middle ranked. We've got Uniswap, so we've already got PulseX kind of thing, but we could see something that's on Ethereum and that's cross chain. We've obviously got Liberty Swap, doing certain things along this line. More bridges. We've got Liberty Swap in that play as well. So Liberty Swap's kind of a little bit across both of those two. And then of course we've got a stablecoin from my exchange. So we've got a new one here, Exchange. So we could have something, on Ethereum or something like that. We've got stablecoin. That seems like a very big candidate, right? Stablecoin, a very big candidate. We'll come back to that. And margin trading, not so much. We've already got Famous, and we've already got, Nexion as well in that sort of space. And then Tornado Cash. Well, obviously we've got Railgun coming from Liberty Swap coming up. So Liberty Swap already tackling quite a few of these things on this list. It does look like stablecoin potentially, or exchange. Some other exchange multi-chain could be one of the top candidates there. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. Right, so that's where we're starting from, and that was a good place to start from the old 2021 list. And then we have some of these things. So Richard's always dropping little blues clues there, here and there. And so we got Richard says, okay, guys, let me, this is back from the 17th of October. So, what's that? 20 days ago. So let's say 3 weeks amongst friends. So, okay, guys, let me let you in on a secret. The people that actually make the most money in crypto aren't buyers and holders. They aren't buyers and holders. It's Tether. So, if we come back to this previous list, stablecoin, well, it's sort of adding to that argument, isn't it? It's Tether. And the world figured it out. So everyone else is, all the big players in the TradeFi and the crypto markets have figured it out. So they're making infinite competitors, right? They all want to get in this very lucrative business of a stablecoin, hashtag Tether there. Now, guess what? One of these competitors will be a fair entity and let Joe blow. Normal, honest entity make a stable with them. So this here does seem to be, the best candidate at the moment, doesn't it? It does seem to be the best candidate. This is something that we got about 3 weeks ago. Little Blues Clues is something that was on the old list there. One of these competitors will be a fair entity and let Joe blow, normal, honest entity, make a stable with them. And of course, this is very important because it's the one that actually makes the most money in crypto. So how do they make money? Well, they make money on interest. They make money on interest, don't they? They make money on issuance and redemptions, and they make billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars. So we're talking, probably 100, 150 billion, somewhere in that ballpark. And you do have to have scalability. So obviously, with the collaterals that they have, they make interest. With the redemptions and issuances, they make fees. They're pretty lucrative fees, right? Because all the volumes are getting pumped through with stablecoins, right? All through the rest of crypto, right? So they earn all those fees like that. And of course, you can also diversify into other asset classes, like taking profits and accumulating other high return businesses as well. And that gives you diversification and investment. So those are kind of the 3 ways that some of these big stablecoins like Tether make money. Street Guru says make money on buying US debt and get bond yields. Yeah, that's what they do too. Yeah, so there's a big part of their interest that they make is on those, and that's how they get the big money. So if you're doing stablecoin, you get people to participate, and then you've got lots of opportunities to make even more money with the money that you make. You can do lots of things with that, right? You can do lots of things with that, and in particular, you can pump Pulse-Chain, right? That's a way of pumping Pulse-Chain. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty neat there. Now, we haven't talked about a concept of a fractional stablecoin. We've talked about this in the past many, many times. It was definitely one of the options that Richard had to really make magical money, and that is fractional reserves. And so we're going to talk about how that might be set up. So we're going to see, because he's a pretty clever guy, and some would say that maybe the best clever founder in crypto. Especially amongst the famous founders. Obviously, we've got a lot of smart people in crypto, but amongst the famous people, certainly probably heads and shoulders above everybody else, and I think that's pretty fair. The people that actually make the most money in crypto. So and of course, he already basically alluded to it like 20 days ago. One of these competitors will be a fair entity. So it's kind of like almost giving it to us. This has definitely got to be a front runner, right, for what it might be. Now, he may launch a precursor to something like this or something related to it because he's got many chess moves he can make. So maybe this is something that's going to happen in the next step, but definitely it is probably the front runner right now. Normal honest entity with a stable with them. So pretty exciting there. Then anyone can on-ramp instantly with dollars. So anybody can on-ramp instantly with dollars direct to the chain. Is it going to be direct into Pulse-Chain? Is it going to be on Pulse-Chain, direct into Pulse-Chain? Obviously, we've kind of seen some interesting things happening with Liberty Swap around making existing stable coins come over to Pulse-Chain, and of course now opening it up with the roadmap. We're going to talk about that a bit later. Pretty exciting. So I think this is probably the best lead that I can see that we have so far, and it is the best money maker. So you get the best money maker, You have the best. It deals with stable coins, deals with making money, deals with onboarding, deals with high volume, which is what the crypto market's for. So it's got all the heavyweight things that you want to have in it. It's pretty crazy. That plus bridges, and we've got obviously Liberty Swap really making onboarding super easy now. Obviously, we've got other ones like Hyperlane and things like that, which are working pretty well with Tide, and we've got Ramp now and etc. We've got other forms of getting onto Pulse Chain, but that plus bridges, and you've entirely and totally replaced centralized exchanges, and that's the big key thing, right? Centralized exchanges will be doomed in a DeFi world that's done properly, right? And Pulse Chain heading towards that direction, pretty awesome there. The last remaining component of the centralized exchange will be marketing, and we've heard Richard talking about that a lot lately. And when they nuke the Ever chart, they get their hands on. Remember, centralized exchanges manipulate all their stuff. They do wash trading. They dump tokens to wipe out all the margin traders. They're very, very bad players. They get a lot of free tokens. They make you pay tokens, certain supplier to get on there, and then they dump on your ass and take all the money. So they're very, very, very bad actors. They're only good for really onboarding people because people are used to simple things. They just want to onboard, whereas decentralized crypto takes a bit more thinking and understanding, right? A bit more experience. And when they nuke the Ever chart, they get their hands on, even that ain't worth much of anything at all, really. This is why you see centralized exchanges start chains as quickly as they can, because they know they're doomed long term. The regulatory arbitrage and gatekeeping for profit trade comes to an end. So this one here is pretty much where I think is pretty exciting where we're going to be here. All right, so let's have a look at. We got another comment here from Street Guru. He rivals Satoshi. RH did well. Yeah, that's right, Street Guru. EL says fate of PDI. Well, we're going to talk about that too. We're not missing out on PDI. We'll talk about that later on. All right, so that's kind of where we are right now. I'm going to keep these things up so we can come back to them. Let's go to the next bit here. And this is another little insight from Richard Hart, right? So this says back on the 10th of January, so it's a lot earlier at the beginning of this year. So it's at almost, is it 10 months ago? 10 months? Yeah, around about 10 months ago. And Richard says there's magic in making one less car than the market wants. There's magic in making one less car than the market wants. The most expensive cars in the world are the most rare. Coins can learn from this. No new PulseX can ever be minted. So that's why I said we're going to come back to PulseX, right? Obviously, the DEX on Pulse Chain, the Richard Hart core coin. It's got a buy and burn. We're over 8% based on GoPulse numbers already, and this is where we are. No new PulseX can ever be minted. Every single day, more PulseX is burnt forever. Some other coins have mechanics which can reduce inflation or increase burning. Ethereum has EIP 1559, for instance. Pulse Chain has that, and 25% less base inflation per block to start with. Hex has time locking. Obviously, coins get burned when people put their Hex into stakes, or mining, as we now call it. Nobody likes inflation. No one does like inflation, except perhaps those minting it for themselves, which, of course, is what Hex does there. Food for thought. When things are tied to other things, if the other things become more rare, it's Hart's law. So if you can make something one of the Richard Hart cores rare, you make the others rarer too. Yummy, more food for thought. Increasing demand can go farther than reducing supply. Obviously, reducing supply is very important, but why not both? And this is the key part I want to get to. So increasing demand can go farther than reducing supply, but why not both? They compound each other. Higher price, more volume, more burn, better chart, more demand, again and again. How do you think cryptocurrency got to trillions of dollars of market cap? 4 of the 5 of those last things. Now, this brings us back to arguably this idea of stablecoin being, if it's the best performing asset class or idea, and Richard's talking about, and guess what? One of these competitors will be a fair entity, and let Joe Blow, normal honest entity, make a stablecoin with them, and anyone can on-ramp instantly with dollars direct to the chain. This could be pretty interesting. So just building on that, and that would accelerate all this stuff around here, particularly around PulseX, right? So that would be pretty interesting angle there. It takes us on to the next one, obviously, which is pump tires. So let's talk about that. We've got Paul O'Shea in the house there, just tuned in now. Hello all, good to see you, Paul. Welcome. And yeah, we got pump tires. So this was back here on the 4th of February, so another month after the last post. So it was about 9 months ago. Pump tires code burns native tokens instead of earning fees. Very important there. Code burns native tokens instead of earning fees, whereas others dump fees earned on you. It makes it easier to make new coins tied to native, but not stable. So new coins tied to native, not stable because they get dumped on you. There's a site called something or another .fun site. In other words, on other chains, not pump tires. It sells down Solana price all the time. Why? Because they prefer to make fees in Solana and dump it on people's heads instead of burning it. And so they're basically just profiting on all the stupid people participating, right? And whereas pump tires on Pulse Chain, it burns it. So that was very important there. That comes back to our previous one, right? Which is in January, a month earlier, increasing demand go farther than reducing supply. Obviously, reducing supply is very important, but of course, you want to increase that demand as well. And so Richard's keeping that in mind. And that comes back to this previous post that this is the best performing market. So you're going to make money to go and get more people to participate and buy, etc. So it's a win across the board there. So that's that one. And so let's go into the next post, and that is from February the 4th as well. And this is the same time, about 9 months ago. You can probably think of a recent coin launch that murdered the price of nearly all other coins across all chains. When coins that launch tied to stable coins for liquidity, people must trade their Solana for stable to buy the new coin. This murders the Solana price, and if other chains bridge into Solana to buy it, it murders the prices of the other chains that bridge into swap for the new coin with liquidity and stablecoin. Thus, if you prefer native coins to go up, then new coins should have liquidity in native coins instead of stables. So this is going to probably be a very important requirement for anything that Richard's doing, is that you should have liquidity in native coins instead of stables. When people launch new coins that you can only get to buy native first, because that's what their liquidity is in, it gives people reasons to buy the native, and that's what Pump Tires does it better. So very important there. So he's already laying the foundation for other protocols that he's launching. And of course, we've got one potentially in the next 20 hours. So well, not potentially, it's coming. It's coming. All right, so let's get into the next one there. Real cryptocurrency already has, this is from March the 19th. This is almost another month later, just over a month later in March. And he goes, real cryptocurrency already has all the components it needs to be great. It's secure and immutable creation, sending and trading of tokens. Now all it needs is marketing. So all the way back in March, he was talking about marketing, just generally speaking. Marketing works best aimed at the unwrecked. Gold and stocks are near all-time highs. Of course, they've rallied even further than that. I consider them unwrecked, and he's quite right because they were really unwrecked there. So that's a couple of little lead-ins there around what Richard Hart might be doing, and I think this is probably the front candidate for me. And we will see. We will see how that plays out. All right, so that is going to lead us into an adjacent topic, which is Liberty Swap. So let's get into that, because they've been posting out some pretty interesting things lately. So study Richard Hart. Liquidity is in the energy of modern finance. With strong enough liquidity and a solid rock order book, you can shape the dominant market that anybody else must follow. Uniswap's fees may sting, but their order book runs deep. They're the final boss of Ethereum DeFi. And that is true. So, this deep liquidity order book is very important. And obviously, we have PulseX at the moment. We have Liberty Swap ramping up their liquidity ecosystem. What will Richard Hart be doing? We know that he's moved a lot of his ETH in through Tornado Cash now. And now he's talked about, after he's done that, he's talked about launching a project, or at least a new platform launching. And it's exciting. And will it be a stable coin? Will it be a wallet? Will it be a DEX? All these sort of things running through people's minds. They're certainly top candidates. Will there be some sort of vertical integration here? So we'll keep a lookout here. And what is the association with Liberty Swap and Richard Hart? All this sort of stuff. So let's quickly look at this video here. Uniswap fees may sting, but the order book runs deep. They're the final boss of Ethereum there. So let's listen to Richard Hart on this little topic here.
The largest order book wins, period. Because you run it. The reason the largest order book wins always is because you run out of energy in the thin order book to try and arb the other one the other direction. The tail cannot wag the dog. The thickest order book always wins.
Right, so we've got a few things happening now. So we've got obviously the best money made is in the stablecoin. Example was Tether, and secondly, now we've obviously got you've got to have the biggest order book, to really dominate the markets here, and we already see this being ramped up in many ways over on Pulse Chain, particularly with Liberty Swap, but also you've got the potential to do something over on Ethereum as well. So we're going to keep a lookout for that too. So that is a little update there from Liberty Swap around studying Richard Hart, and they've been putting a lot of this stuff, right? And so 70 hours ago, an attack on Ethereum is at its core an attack on the Uniswap's market share, and that's could be something that's in play as well, right? So an attack on play there, and of course maybe a stablecoin helps with that. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Now the other thing, of course, we know that we've got we've got Liberty Swap with its own roadmap coming out, right? So let's quickly look at that because I want to get into that. And we might even look at Dirty Crypto's coverage recently of Liberty Swap's updates over the last 24 hours because I think they are important too. So let me just scroll back here. I want to go to the roadmap. So the roadmap, we've been talking about this, since they launched the roadmap, and I covered the launch of this. And so they got Liberty Swap roadmap peacock to the moon. So we got obviously they've bought $200,000 in. They were very lucky because the market pulled back on Pulse, so they were able to pick up tons of Pulse. This was a win-win for the Pulse chain, even though the price was down. It was a sacrifice for others that sold their tokens into the hands of Liberty Swap. Liberty Swap thanks them for their service, and everyone else does as well. So that's pretty much it. And coming up on Saturday the 8th, we've got the next big phase of expansion for Liberty Swap, and that is Pulse routes go live. And that's going to enable instant movement of Pulse between Ethereum mainnet and Pulse chain. And funny enough, in about 18 hours, we've got some announcement around a project from Richard Hart. If we come back to that, that's what I got. I've heard a new project is launching, details within 24 hours. Now, it may not launch exactly in 24 hours, right? It could just be an announcement of an announcement. So we get hear about the project, and that's going to be launching in a week or something like that, or in a month, right? Or something. It could be something like that too. So no reason that it's going to launch exactly in 24 hours, but it does appear that it could be. And at the moment, a new project is launching, details in 24 hours. Let's see exactly how that's going to launch. Because the timings are pretty interesting, aligned there. And we've got the old Liberty Swap there, Pulse routes going like enable instant movement of Pulse between Ethereum mainnet and Pulse chain. So obviously that capital flow is very important, back and forth. And of course the transaction limit was really friendly, wasn't it? Max per transaction, 1 billion. And if we go back to the Pulse chain sacrifice, I think it was like the top 1,000 that had, for their sacrifice amount, had about 1 billion, which I think, if I remember, I'm just going off the top of my head, I do have the spreadsheet. Should we go look it up? I could look it up. Let me just have a quick look and make sure I've got the PulseX spreadsheet as well. So I've got to make sure I get the right one here. What's that there? Rich says, I got this detail Superman launched in 2 weeks. I don't know about that one. Richard's not kind of that 2 weeks ago, generally speaking, but we'll see. It could be 2 years. No, just kidding. Right. Let's jump on to this next one. So that's coming up there. Now, I was trying to do something, wasn't I? I was trying to find the this for 1 billion tokens, isn't I? Yeah, 1 billion there. Let me scroll all the way down to spreadsheet. You guys remember the old spreadsheet from the sacrifice days? And scrolling all the way down there. Yeah, that's about right. So that's pretty cool. At least my memory's not failing me yet. And around about the top 1,000, it's just above that. We're getting 1 billion tokens or more. In fact, if we scroll down a little bit further, probably 10,050 wallets were getting 1 billion or so. And that sacrifice, maybe not as high as, well, it depends on who you are. But a lot of people, got 1 billion tokens for around about 72,000 US dollars. A couple of them have, paid worse rates and paying much higher. There's one wallet here got, that was, I guess it's not too bad. Yeah, so around about $72,000 or more to get 1 billion tokens. There were a few people that did slightly better on the earlier rates, but that's generally it. So that gives you an idea of how large the people were at 1 billion. Obviously, that's not worth that now because we're below the mean sacrifice price at about 30%, 30%. So it's a lot cheaper than that. But still pretty big and no daily limit. and all fees collected will be used to add to the liquidity for Peacock. So Peacock there is the chosen one there for the meme of the Pulse chain. From the looks of it, it is going to be supercharged there, and we've been talking about that a little bit. Now, I don't want to get too distracted with some things that are going on, but it does apply to some of the principles of Richard Hart, right? And we already see, Liberty Swap talking about this, and that is that we are seeing this ebbs and flows, right? So a rally up, a pull down, rally up, a pull down, a rally up, pull down. Chart is looking spectacular. No real big, smash and grab. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody with a large holding could do that at some time. Of course, they can. But what we're seeing is that we get a bit of rally, and the teams like burning tokens, it's adding to LP, it's buying up tokens, right? So bought some up today, hold up the price, and it's creating price falls, right? So that's pretty exciting to see. It's got we've got a price floor here, I guess. We've got a price floor, here, and it's just adding price floors to the chart there. And of course, they want it to go, Peacock to $10, $1 billion, $1 billion coins. Let's just $1, $10, whatever. And so they just help ramping this up, right? And they're applying many of the principles of that Richard Hart has kind of alluded to in many of these other posts that we just read through. And it's just game on, right? So they're just going to keep rinse and repeating. And so it's going to go up to another level, and then it's going to go up to another level, right? So it's going to keep going up other levels, and there'll be pullbacks on the way. Now, obviously, there's always some, once we get to a certain point, there's, going to be probably some bigger players that decide to do some weird exits. But ultimately, people understand that this is more of an investment with the upside. Then it's going to be a lot more stable. At the moment, we're at 2 cents. So, we could run away very quickly by the end of November to something much higher. So that is on the Liberty Swaps roadmap there. And the big thing that is launching, of course, is the Rat Pulse. This is very, very important. Interesting timing, of course, with Richard Hart's announcement. Now, November the 15th, which is the following Saturday, they're going to be doing PDI, deflationary routes. Obviously, the PDI community will be very happy about that, and I think they are. And then we've got the Wrapped ETH coming up as well, Wrapped ETH Pulse chain to ETH mainnet. And, of course, that maybe give us another date, potentially around, whatever Richard is going to be announcing with the details, right? What these details actually mean, and is it actually launching, in 20 hours, or is it going to be, launching a couple of days later or a week later, or something like that? Get ready, everybody, get whatever it's going to be. So that's kind of the play there. And then at the end of the month, we got Railgun, the privacy side. Now we know Richard is keen on privacy, right? So Richard is keen on privacy, and so yeah, what will we see in that space, right? And that would mean, that Pulse chain becomes kind of the privacy chain, right? And it's also, it's a layer one in its own right, but it's going to have all this volume. It's going to have, potentially stable coin if that's what's being launched. It does seem to be indicated that is the best thing in crypto, right? That's what Richard's kind of saying, and he only said it a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Guess what? One of these competitors will be a fair entity and let Joe Blow, normal, honest entity, make a stable with them. Then anyone can on-ramp instantly with dollars direct to the chain. And so is it going to be on Ethereum? It's going to be on a launch on Ethereum and allow that to come over, because that's where all the stable coins are. Right? 95% plus of the stable coins on Ethereum. That's where the big chain is, the smart contracts, the big, that's where Tom Lee's going, right? And all the big players. Strategic reserves. So that's where the money is. That's the low hanging fruit, and that's what you want to pull on into the Pulse chain, right? And Liberty Swap, along with other players like Hyperlane and others, making that happen, right? But this is pretty special, unique there, and then of course privacy on top of that. So you want your volume, and you want your buy and burn of PulseX, all that sort of stuff, all wins together, and you're in the most profitable business to make that happen. So. It's capital efficiency, and it's something else that Liberty Swap talks about, is capital efficiency, right? And you got to take away the barriers of entry as well and allow capital to flow. So very, very exciting, guys. The lineup is just perfect, isn't it? All fees are collected go to support Peacock liquidity there, and of course having a Peacock meme, you're going to have what did I say? There was only, with the pullback the other day, there was only 6 memes that are over 1 billion. Before that, there was 8 memes. Can we get into that group? And that's kind of where Liberty Swap's been talking about going to. And so Pulse chain also, not only does it have incredible DeFi being rolled out from Richard Hart, Liberty Swap, and other players, it's also going to have a big meme that people are going to talk about, and it's exciting, and of course, very, very cool. So that's some of the cool stuff there coming from them. Now, I think Dirty Crypto is been covering a lot of stuff around what they've been doing. And I'm just going to scroll down there because I was going to pull out the posts individually, but he's kind of pulled them together, and so I want to probably just easier to go through his part there, his stuff. Just scrolling back down here, part 2, part 1. Let's go. Where's part 1 gone? So where part 1 was it? Did I pass it? Did I pass it by? Let's see here. Not sure if I passed it all by there, but let's scroll back up here. They will start with this one here. So, Pulse Chain, PDI, ready for the Liberty Swap Alpha. Now, obviously, Dirty Crypto and that, they're going to associate it with a lot of PDI stuff. We do know that PDI will be getting support, which is pretty interesting. And so, yeah. The other thing, of course, is, between Hex, the two Hex pairs, Hex on Pulse, Hex on Ethereum, and PDI, the supply numbers are actually pretty similar, aren't they? Which is kind of interesting. After the OA wallet, staked it all the stuff, there's pretty similar numbers. If I remember, around 45 billion coins or something like that, which is pretty similar, I think, to PDI. So there's some interesting associations there with the supply numbers between Hex and PDI. Kind of interesting. I mean, they're going to be fractionally reserved and used as collateral for any stablecoin, something like that. There's all sorts of different options there, and they're definitely going to have support here now on Liberty Swap on the 15th. It's makes for some interesting associations. Anyway, put that aside. Pulse Chain PDI ready for the Liberty Swap Alpha. Expect a mega essay following this post. We're going to be discussing how Pulse Chain may be on track to front run any vision Ethereum has in terms of privacy. And now we know that Vitalik has that big vision. Never been done before. Liberty Swap believes Pulse Chain is intentionally built as a liquidity guest house, serving as a routing and obfuscation layer where Ethereum assets can move through for trading and privacy rather than remain long term. Simply put, Ethereum users can come to the Freedom Chain, aka Pulse Chain, for swaps and privacy. Less need to park non-native assets like Ethereum and centralized stablecoins with blacklist functions. All right, so we obviously know Liberty Swap is doing Railgun, the Pulse Chain bridge, for live privacy-enabled transfers on the 30th of this month. So you can see that November is the turning point, is the infrastructure. We've got Richard on the move, Liberty Swap on the move, and between the two of them in particular, we've got this is the turning point for the old Pulse Chain. So it's happening right now as we're speaking. So it's kind of cool. 2 weeks, or maybe 2 weeks. I mean, what's the 15th? It's not that far away. All right, so we got a lot of the cool stuff. But anyway, so that is coming up there. Pulse Chain could potentially be the home of the world's first decentralized. I'll scroll up a bit back up here because I'm a bit too fast here. Less need to park non-native assets like Ethereum and centralized stablecoins with blacklist functions. Pulse Chain could potentially be the home of the world's first decentralized ping pong Esquire stablecoin with no blacklist function. Insert PDI. Why ping pong? Now he's adding in PDI, and of course Liberty Swap has added in PDI. Association there. I don't know necessarily why PDI would be used. And I didn't think Richard really liked PDI. So this is the really question mark I have over this. But I can't ignore the fact that Liberty Swap's got it on their rollout there. But they're also going to have EHEX on as well. So Liberty Swap's going to have EHEX too, which is not on this list here. So why? Because potential collateral may be comprised or decentralized assets and go up and down. No ties to fiat or centralized Oracle garbage. Liberty Swap says Pulse Chain could resemble a large-scale Tornado Cash or Railgun style layer 1. Then it talks about how Pulse and PDI were sold off. Prices dropped sharply, but once the certain level was reached, the dormant capital quickly bought the dip and pushed prices back up. And what do we see today from Liberty Swap, right? We saw that today from Liberty Swap. Liberty Swap did that earlier. I'm not sure if it's on the link here. Let me where we come back here. So this morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, Liberty Swap did some of that ebbs and flows, right? You know how I was talking about we're finding these price floors, and they've got this beautiful mechanism about burning and building LP and buying with the Treasury, Pulse Treasury. Well, back to work and just topped up our Peacock LP with some Pulse. Which coin do you think will fully send on Pulse Chain today? I mean, this is kind of the ebbs and flows there. Then talks about how PLS and PDI were sold off. Prices dropped sharply once a certain level was reached, dormant capital quickly bought the dip and pushed prices back up. We can deploy capital from other blockchains to reinforce liquidity. This is very important, right? We can deploy capital from other blockchains, aka probably Ethereum and stuff, BNB and other things, to reinforce liquidity and drive the chart upwards. Paying attention, says Dirty Crypto. Yeah, indeed. All right, so let's scroll up to the next one. Part 2, it was an hour later, 13 hours ago. Pulse Chain PDI Liberty Swap Alpha Part 2. Now, still have to do a mega essay post. Someone please tell Liberty Swap intern to slow down. Too much good intel. Now, you can find all the individual messages, and some of them are in here. That's why we're just going through it that much easier. It's much easier to just go through dirty crypto stuff. TVL, total asset locked in smart contracts protocol. Now, Liberty Swap talked about a lot about the differences between TVL here. So we're going to talk about that now. This can easily be inflated. If someone pushes PDI to $1, automatically $44 billion of TVL magically appears on everyone's analytics website. Important takeaway, you only need enough liquidity to support trading activity, and that is the key takeaway, right? So fractional support is what we're talking about here, and we've been talking about this as probably the most logical way from that Richard would move ahead. So we're going to find out in due course. Johnny says, I think it's finally going to be his wallet, because he did say that he was going to be his next project after Pulse Chain. So Johnny's saying a wallet. Well, that wallet could have a lot of features, right, around privacy and other things. So that could be definitely the case. But like I say, where's the big money made? Well, it is either in a wallet like a Uniswap, if you're going to have all those, if you can be the biggest DEX in order book, or you're going to have a stablecoin, which is where all the money is being made as well. So those two definitely the big money makers, right? They're the big money makers. So one of those two could definitely be in play here. All right, so and then meanwhile, you still need the infrastructure, right, to be able to connect Pulse Chain and Ethereum very well, and then also suck in all the value from Ethereum into Pulse Chain. So, and obviously, you get back to what we we're talking about accelerating the demand side for the PulseX and make that vicious cycle there. So you got the burn and the demand pushing the price up, and it just goes up in a vicious cycle, and also improves the liquidity as well. Essentially, what we're seeing Liberty Swap actively doing. Important takeaway, you only need enough liquidity to support trading activity. This is different than market capitalization of stables. This is what we see Liberty Swap doing, right? So they only deploy enough capital to help with the volume, and they've had about $50 million in volume so far, and they're looking at going to 500 million, right? So 10x that with this step up mechanism here. There's a difference than market capitalization of stablecoins refers to real stables on layer one. In other words, if PDI were to go to $1, now this is his PDI narrative. I'm not supporting that necessarily. I think that it probably could be something else, but hey, look, can't take it off the table. But I just don't see Richard supporting that. Richard sort of said the case, particularly around when there's an exploit. Now there's arguably no exploit, then maybe they look at it. Interesting enough, it does have similar supply numbers as Hex at the moment. It's kind of interesting. If PDI were to go to $1 and lock it in the contract, COF Arbitrarium Layer 2, all of a sudden Pulse Chain has 44 billion TVL, but doesn't need as much liquidity to support it as you may think. And this was always going to be the play, right, on a fractional support of a stablecoin or token that you're going to have. They give the example of Solana, 500 billion TVL, but only has 5 billion of real stables. That's a 100 to 1 difference. And that's how you make magic money, right? That's how you make magic money in crypto. And so that's some of the comments. Now he's pulled out some of the posts that Liberty Swap was putting out there, and he was going, Liberty Swap saying we should distinguish between two different concepts: TVL, total value locked, and the market capitalization of stable coins issued on chain. TVL represents the total value of assets currently locked in smart contracts across all protocols on a blockchain, because it depends on token valuations and contract activity. It can be easily inflated. For example, if someone were to push PDI's price to $1 and then lock all existing PDI in a contract, Pulse Chain's reported TVL would instantly appear to be 44 billion, even if very little centralized stablecoin liquidity existed on the chain. At the peak of the market in late 2024 to early 2025, the total value of all assets on Solana was estimated at around 500 billion, while the total stablecoin supply on Solana was only about 5 billion, roughly 100 to 1. Today, Solana hosts around $10 billion of stablecoins, yet the combined market capitalization of Solana alone exceeds 100 billion. We don't even count the value of non-Solana assets on Solana yet. This clearly shows that a blockchain doesn't need massive stablecoin liquidity to sustain a large total asset value. Even a modest amount of stable coin liquidity is enough to support a significant on-chain market capitalization and trading activity. Now, that means we could have some sort of protocol that does that supply sync as well. That could definitely come up. So I'll keep a lookout for that. So that is the post there, and I think we're going to jump back out into the next part, which is part 3 that we have. Actually, we've got where's part 3? It's up here. Part 3, yeah. We're going to go to his interim one here as well. Pulse chain, do you dare to go down the PDI rabbit hole? Now, he's obviously angling us to PDI. What does Richard Hart think is truly interesting? Fractionally reserved stablecoin, a free PRC20 making history. Solana had 500 billion TVL, but only had 5 billion real stables. It's a 100 to 1 difference, just enough. So that's on the back, obviously, of Liberty Swap's post there. So let's listen to the second video, Richard Hart here.
And so once Pulse has value, all of the PRC20s are going to have value. And then we're going to get to find out things that are truly interesting. For instance, Tether used to be fractionally reserved, might still be, but used to be, because they had $600 million seized by a Polish bank, or seized by the Polish government from a Polish bank. Still held its peg. So we have proof, we have evidence that stablecoins can hold their peg when fractionally reserved. How far fractionally reserved can a stablecoin go and still hold its peg? Can it go to 0 fractional reserve? We're going to find out, because you're not going to be able to redeem your Pulse USDT for dollars. You're not going to be able to redeem your Pulse USDC for dollars. You're not going to be able to redeem your Pulse USDC or DAI for dollars, but you will be able to get the locked other tokens that allowed you to mint those. So basically, no one in the world knows what value stablecoins will have on Pulse Chain, but I'm willing to bet it's not 0. The stupidest coins in the universe created out of thin air that literally just changed the logo. So if those things have value, I would imagine that the stablecoin would have value too.
Now, obviously, you can describe that as the PRC forks, right? But you could also set that up as a separate entity to actually back up a stablecoin with the actual protocol. So we're going to keep a lookout whether that's the case. Street Guru says USD Tether. Yes, says Street Guru. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that is the play on that one. Let's go back to the third part in the series. And that is up here. And he's taken quite a few bits of the Liberty Swap here to go with the narrative. Pulse Chain, Liberty Swap Alpha Part 3. The following is a goldmine of information. I highly recommend you read Liberty Swap original post below. I simplify, give the highlights, and sprinkle in some thoughts. Let's begin. Pulse Chain equals the Cayman Islands. Confused? Good. Keep reading. It all makes sense. At this stage, it's clear Ethereum is progressing towards protocol-level privacy. Vitalik discussed this in great detail, and here's Ethereum is a massive cruise ship, hence it moves slowly. Pulse Chain has the ability to front run and take things to a whole new level. Liberty Swap says Pulse Chain looks like it's designed to evolve into the main liquidity and obfuscation layer for the broader Ethereum ecosystem. Pulse Chain will serve as the freedom capital. Can't trace it on chain activity, can't be linked to your real world identity, can't weaponize it against you. Pulse Chain equals privacy enhanced blockchain, EVM compatible since it's a system state fork of Ethereum, and no reliance on third party privacy add-ons like Railgun. Well, at least until Liberty Swap adds it. Richard Hart has hinted a few ideas like a block explorer where only sender and receiver see transactions, or a license to block spying companies. You basically come to Pulse Chain for private routing and swaps, a guest house, not primarily for parking ETH or centralized stables, a home to native assets and a potential decentralized stablecoin. So a home to native assets and a potential decentralized stablecoin. He laughs. He's probably alluding to PDI, of course, but it could be something completely new from Richard, which would probably be the case based on his other past comments about PDI. That being said, of course, you can't ignore Liberty Swap supporting it. And in the long run, Pulse Chain can become a Tornado Cash Railgun style L1. That does appear to be what Liberty Swap is setting up, right? The focus is primarily for long enough LP to support all activity rather than TVL and undertake smart contract risk. Keep in mind, this is Liberty Swap speculation based on what they have seen. I think they are special and they continue to impress me. Of course, this is coming from Liberty Swap. Well, I can't speak for Mr. Hart's intentions routing wrapped ETH liquidity through Pulse Chain alone already provides a major boost to the value of Pulse Chain native assets. Anyway, recently I can make some educated guesses and prepare our protocol to evolve. Number one, Mr. Hart likely understands that Ethereum is progressing towards protocol level privacy. He has some ideas that show his intention of positioning Pulse Chain ahead of Ethereum's own timeline. Number two, from observing his product lineup, I can infer that Pulse Chain is designed to evolve into the main liquidity hub and obfuscation layer for the broader Ethereum ecosystem. It could enable Freedom Capital to move and settle with great pseudonymity and minimizing exposure to on-chain surveillance and analytics. Think of it as a privacy-enhanced blockchain that still interacts seamlessly with all Ethereum dApps, but retains the resilience and independence of a true layer one without external dependencies of systems like Railgun. So we could see some sort of gateway protocol launch from Richard. That'd be interesting, into Pulse Chain from Ethereum, right? And it does seem like, obviously the ETH money is on Ethereum, so it seems like ETH is the starting point, and of course that's where you would extract value from in the Pulse Chain. This architecture allows assets to bridge in, execute trades, swaps, and conversions, then bridge out again while making full transaction traceability far more complex. In my view, Mr. Hart preempted Ethereum's upcoming privacy features, such as those Vitalik Buterin has outlined in his discussion on zero-knowledge proofs and private transfers, by building Pulse Chain as a decentralized, censorship-resistant layer one focused on user sovereignty and extreme privacy, which is pretty cool. And he's got, obviously, posting to Richard Hart, fun ideas, a blockchain explorer, where only the sender receiver gets to see transactions. Why should someone else pay so people can spy on your transactions? Software license update that bans use of the software by companies from spying on you, and whatever creative constructions they attempt to use to evade that. You might have heard of a spying company that would take the fifth protection from testifying regarding their running certain software to spy on people. Perhaps it would be nice to include civil penalties as well. Spying isn't nice. If you want to bootstrap a bunch of users regaining their privacy, it's best to just stick it on something that's quite popular on its own, rather than try and bootstrap it by itself. For instance, if DEXs or something similar had adoption, just give people privacy by default. Their privacy would reach out and enhance the privacy of everybody else. North Korea doesn't want you to have privacy. Do you want them to do what they did to their own people? Some random ideas there, and of course that's Vitalik there. Right, so that is some of the stuff coming out there from the team. And let's scroll back up there. So that's some stuff there from Dirty Crypto. I think he did a nice job of summarizing all of that. And we got Decentralized Man, another PDI guy. Does some good commentaries, and LibertySwap laid out Pulse Chain's product market fit today. Take the time to read it below, and he's got a nice little summary here too. We'll probably go through that as well. Let's have a look at the time we're doing. We're up to an hour and 12 minutes. LibertySwap laid out Pulse Chain's product market fit today. Take time to read it below. Pulse Chain is designed to evolve into the main liquidity hub and obfuscation layer for the broader Ethereum ecosystem. An attack on Ethereum is at its core an attack on Uniswap's market share. PulseX will have greater liquidity than Uniswap. This will attract volume as traders seek a lower slippage for the same assets. Now, it comes back to our previous post that we talked about, right? Which one is it? This one here. And that was here. More food for thought. Increasing demand can go farther than reducing supply, but why not both? So you want to reduce the supply and get increasing demand. They compound each other. Higher price, more volume, more burn. Better chart, more demand again and again. How do you think cryptocurrency got the trillions of dollars of market cap? 4 of 5 of those last things, right? So very, very excited about that. Yeah. So that comes back to that post. That was all back on the January the 10th that he put that out there. So these ideas around what he's doing, coming into the market in this way. Pretty cool. So an attack on Ethereum at its core, an attack on the Uniswap. Now we know the Ethereum is over on the Uniswap, gone through Tornado Cash. Whatever protocol is there, he can make, suck out all the value. This is where Ethereum's got most of the value, right? Suck all that out. It's getting all the big capital coming in from Wall Street and TradeFi, through Tom Lee and all the other strategic ETH reserves and ETFs, etc. So you're really just, you're not only attacking Uniswap, you're attacking all that capital coming in from the big markets, and that's just beginning. That's just beginning, right? We know this is a 10-year cycle, so it's going to be huge. PulseX will have greater liquidity than Uniswap. This will attract volume as traders seek lower slippage for the same assets. The AMM collected massive amounts of PRC20 copies that were locked in smart contract protocols at the time of launch. Remember the AMM, first 3 days. Pulse Chain is intentionally built as a liquidity guest house, serving as both a routing and obfuscation layer for the broader ecosystem. Pulse Chain will have privacy built into it on layer one. You can see your own transactions, but not others. This will attract volume as traders seek privacy, can route back into fresh wallets on ETH to off-ramp. Our Layer 2 enables this level of privacy weeks ago with ZK rollups were installed and Exodus mode activated on the old Layer 2. Think of it as a privacy-enhanced blockchain that still interacts seamlessly with all Ethereum dApps. Copies of Ethereum protocols will function over on Pulse Chain. We've spoken at length about the work conducted on Maker, Compound, and Aave. Take Pulse and PDI as examples, where millions of dollars worth of assets were sold off. Prices dropped sharply, but once they reached certain levels, dormant capital quickly stepped in, buying the dip and pushing prices back up instantly. We can deploy capital from other blockchains to reinforce liquidity and drive the charts upwards. This was tested with the PDI from Betterbank exploit dump the price of PDI. When a massive dump happens on Pulse Chain and a specified token, LS is able to access liquidity from other chains and quickly arbitrage. We've already seen this exist on Layer 2 as the LO or Layer 0 Omni Bridge we've spoken about there. Congratulations, you're still in Pulse Chain. You front run the biggest value add of the cycle. That's how you grow rich. That's the point there. So that is some of the posts happening from these guys. Obviously, Pulse Chain, Liberty Swap against Ethereum Railgun will be implemented on November the 30th. So we really are in this November turning point, laying all this absolute mega boom stuff for Pulse Chain. And congratulations to all of you, because you managed to survive 900 days and you're finally here for the excitement. Pulse Chain will officially become the Freedom Chain, as privacy as a fundamental human right. And that's back to obviously Richard Hart's ethos there. And Pulse Chain. Yeah. Pulse Chain, if Richard Hart ever releases a wallet, it will probably have Railgun implemented in Liberty Swap API. Interesting, eh? Theoretically, you would be able to swap, bridge, and do it all privately, one-stop shop. So there we go. And that would come back a little bit to Johnny here. He says, I think it's finally going to be his wallet, because he did say he was going to be his next project. Yeah, and that would hit everything, right? So it would have hitting the Uniswap liquidity, the order books, it would have the privacy, and potentially even a stablecoin issuance. We will see. We'll see. Could be integration of all those, vertically integrated wallet between and connecting between Ethereum and other chains and Pulse Chain with all that. So that could be mega. All right. So there we are. That is stuff. Let's have a little look at this little clip here.
Soon we'll have a fully vertically integrated system. Value storage, Hex, trading, PulseX, consensus network, Pulse Chain. All you're missing is wallet and fiat on-ramps. Maybe margin trading, which is kind of gross. Maybe NFT, which is kind of gross. But, you don't need that for vertical integration. And so we've got value storage with Hex. We've got the consensus network with Pulse Chain. We've got the trading with PulseX. We nearly have a fully integrated vertical system. We're just missing fiat on-ramps and wallet. And wallet, it's fine. Like, it works fine. They're not shoving bad advertisements down my users' throats. I don't think they're shoving ads down my users' throats at all, which is why I'm happy to send people to them currently. Yeah. So minus wallet and fiat on-ramp, we're totally vertically integrated.
Will there be a Hex wallet? There's actually already a Hex wallet, and I've never had the time to publish it. So there's already a complete mobile Hex wallet that's been built that I've never had time to launch. I haven't had time. We've also got a wallet, a Hex wallet that's done. I haven't had time to release it. There's a lot of really cool stuff kind of going on in the ecosystem.
So there we go. So that puts up the old wallet as well. So we've got stablecoin wallet, we've got privacy, all in the mix there, and vertical integration. So that is the vision, and it looking pretty good. But I do come back to this post. This on here, this post from 3 weeks ago. I guess I'll let you on a secret. One of these competitors will be a fair entity. They're Joe Blow, normal honest entity. Make a stablecoin with them. And then anyone can on-ramp instantly with dollars. And, of course, you call that a fiat on-ramp. Obviously, we have Coast and others, but we're talking about Richard Hart there driving the system direct to the chain. So, let's see where it all lands. Looks pretty exciting. And Liberty Swap seems to be playing its role in a big way. So, interesting stuff there. All right, so some really cool things going on there. Let's quickly go to Liberty Swap here a little bit more, since we're having a good time. What time is it now? 11:20. Man, good thing I started early, right? It's still pretty early for me. So that is some of the cool stuff happening. Got another hack there from looks at out in the markets. Liberty Swap here said 4 hours ago, I love seeing the optimism energy returning to Pulse Chain, even while asset prices are still low. Young says prices aren't low, they're cheap. That's right. My bad choice of words there. Pretty funny. All right, so yeah, let's see what happens. It's pretty exciting, guys. Yeah, I guess that's some of the cool stuff happening right now. And I don't know if Richard Hart's got anything else out, but that is some of the thoughts and some of the little little nuggets that Richard's dropped over the last year. And let's not forget all the stuff he has been doing already up to this point. And that is, he's did the hex staking with the OA wallets. He's done. He obviously pumped tires. He's reduced the incentive on the old Pulse 6, thinned out liquidity. He's flushed out quite a few weekends on the way. We've seen a lot recently, haven't we? A lot of early sacrifices, a lot of large validators, a lot of dumpers, selling out and moving out to go to the majors and stuff like that. So we've seen a lot of that impact the chain. And now we're at after 3 years, we are with a major rollout over this 4-week period. Like we've already had it's already been rolling out, but really a major rollout coming up. So I think it's game on. Now maybe he's got a lot of chess moves he can make. He controls obviously the ETH, controls the OA wallets on Pulse Chain, the AMM pools, the pump tires, those all sorts of things that he has. We also know that Liberty Swap's going to be doing a new front end for pump tires as well. So that all plays a big role in burning away tokens, increasing volume and liquidity, and a fractionally reserve concept, of course, creating magic money in crypto, and bringing in all the demand and vampiring essentially every other chain just about. So, and particularly Ethereum. It's going to be pretty awesome stuff. Free My Pulse says, pump tires die stable on the wallet. Pump tires die stable on the wallet. Yeah. Yep. Could happen now that he stopped the exploit. I think the exploit was the biggest concern he had about that. So it's definitely on the table. Definitely on the table there. And Liberty Swap's showing support, right? If that gets supported over there, it can be easily done now. So I do agree. With that. All right. All right, so that's some of the cool stuff happening right now. I think that's it. I think we covered it pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed some of those little clips from the past, because I really do think that's amazing. So yeah, we're counting it down 6 hours. So we've got 5.5. We've got 18 and a half hours to go. I think it is 18 and a half hours to go till we find out what the details are. Will it be an imminent launch, or will it be at the end of the 8.5 hours, or will it be something that's launching very soon after? And the details will be there. And of course, we know the community is going to absolute FOMO. It looks like we might get a million views on this, guys, by the time it launches. A million views, and that's huge. And then, of course, you guys know we've had a lot of big influencers come on recently that have started to comment on Pulse Chain, all the way from Xavier, all the way through to Matt Wallace. These are mega. These are in the top, 1,500 influencers in the world. And so things can really take off very quickly. Ivan on Tech, Wendy Cryptio, a lot of the existing juggernauts in crypto, and it can all become a wildfire very, very fast. And then guess what? Richard Hart streams afterwards, right? That could be massive. He could stream on the launch too. That's a double massive, right? They say, oh, we're going to be launch and then stream too. Come on, guys. That's a wildfire. And it's pretty exciting. What else? Let's see. We got Blair in the house there. Good to see you, Blair. This video just gets on loop. It just keeps playing there. So yeah, Richard Hart there talking about launch a project. Man, this is as good as it gets. This is what people wanted. This is his old roadmap, pre and post to MVP, the minimum viable product. We've talked about where the most of the money's made in the old stablecoin, and how that impacts volume on markets, right, and demand. And so, and he teased out only 3 weeks ago, and guess what? One of these competitors will be a fiat entity and let Joe Blow, normal, honest entity, make a stable with them. Then anyone can on-ramp instantly with dollars direct to the chain. So this is obviously something very, very important there. And he already said, let you in on a secret. So, that's pretty cool. We've got Richard Hart, obviously focused on pulse X, increasing not just the burning, but also the demand and creating that vicious cycle. So you need, that's kind of the end result, right, of anything you might be launching. And then, of course, we've already had pump tires. We talked about the OA staking of Hex and the change of the incentive token in the Pulse Hex farms, managing inflation and rewards on chain, and of course the liquidity as well. And then, of course, it's pretty exciting stuff. And and then marketing, of course. The marketing is the last bit, right? Marketing works best. And he's been talking about this since March all the way through. And of course, we've got expecting 1 million tablets to go out by the end of this year as well. So that's all in the mix. And we are expecting bigger marketing coming out from Liberty Swap, right? Liberty Swap looking to get listed on a lot of different sites. And they're talking about ramping up their marketing as well. So a lot of things on the move right now. And you guys made it. So congrats. All right, so very exciting. Peacock right now at 0.2 of a penny. Let's have a look at the old pulse chain charts again. We're going to look at Pulse. Pulse is no, it's not even rallying yet, but is it going to rally in the next few hours? Because at quadruple 0307 right now, and it's time. So let's see what happens to Pulse over the next 8.5 hours, heading up towards Richard's announcement. What happens after the announcement? It's going to be fun to see. And of course, you guys remember the Ethereum chart, and I want to go back to that quickly now that I'm thinking about it. Liberty Swap posted out much earlier. We've talked about this already, but yesterday I think it was, or the day before. But they posted that chart of Ethereum. Let me scroll down here. This one here, and not that one, not that one there, not DevC. Where is it? Down here. Are you guys dizzy? Because it makes me dizzy when I scroll down. Here. This one here. Pulse liquidity on Ethereum. So Ethereum is very key to this, right? It's 252k liquidity, 1.4 million market on Pulse of Ethereum, and so you could move this very quickly, right? This could move very quickly. So interesting to see that Ethereum Pulse chain connection and how that moves things up. So pretty exciting. Obviously, Pulse chain on the move, actively, pushing up the price floor of the old Peacock, and it's exciting times, right? Exciting times. Look at that. That's the Pulse chart right now. And let's see if we get anything green like that green card that goes us all the way to the end of Christmas there, or end of the year, and that would get us to the top of the chain there. So let's see what happens in the play. All right, I think we've had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope there's a few insights in there. We've got a few ideas in there about a wallet, about stablecoin. Obviously, PDI seems to be possibly in the mix there. Certainly, Liberty Swap is added in, but we'll see. And the magic money is about to start happening. The foundation's about to start being supported. And with all that ETH and the sacrifice now spread out, that could be used to, in part, you only need part of it to launch the system. This whole fractionalized reserve system, you just need a little part of it, right? So if you've got a 1 to 100 rule, you might only need 1% to lift it up. So if you had $40 million, it could just be 1 minute or to get to the billions, right? So this is the whole idea we've talked about many times in the past. So let's see what happens. Let's see the master at work. He's very excited about it, and I think that's probably the place to finish, right? That he is excited. So I'm excited to be ready. Isn't that awesome? Let's refresh that, see how many views it's had on it so far. But it's pretty good. Yeah, 179. So on the move up there. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we might just get one of these at some stage. Maybe, what do you think? Maybe tomorrow? Maybe after November, after the railgun? Maybe after the interest rate cut on the 10th of December? Somewhere in the future, we may see something like that. And it could just look like this. So take care, everybody. Catch you on tomorrow's show. I might stream again today. Who knows? We're so excited right at the moment. It's just crazy. I streamed twice yesterday. It is so awesome. You can feel the anticipation.
You could get a God candle at any moment. You could get a giant green candle at any moment, because it's easier to get them, because it takes less economic energy, because there's less of it for sale.